So the Xbox Series S was officially unveiled yesterday in the most 2020 of ways possible. And by that I mean it was literally announced via a tweet at 2 a.m. in the morning after it was leaked via a tweet. 2020 is just that year, bro. I swear to God. It's crazy because both Sony and Microsoft, they've been playing this eternal game of chicken for the past 6 months with infinite lives, no lives lost. They thought this shit was funny. And then look what we have here.
Well. How the turntables...
In all seriousness, though, the Xbox Series S, it exists. That thing is real, man. It is tangible. Let's talk about it because I gotta say, it is kind of weird. After the past, how long we've been talking about the Series S for what, year and a half, and all the 40 million prediction videos we've been making, the fact that this thing is actually legit and it's coming out in just a couple of weeks is honestly really surprising because the idea of the Series S is so fascinating. Where we look at previous generation of consoles, whatever company you want to pick to, whether it's Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Sega, Atari, when they come out with a new generation of systems, they launch their big bad and then they just continue refining it from there. You know, every now and then they'll do different type of SKUs, like based off hardware storage and other things like that. But for the most part, the consoles are the same. This generation is the first that you have a major competitor launching two systems in the same family that are so different, but at the same time, they are similar in a lot of ways. So looking at it on paper, if you compare the Xbox Series S to its bigger brother, the Xbox Series X, you kind of question the validity of the Series S. Like, why are they releasing this console here? Looking at it on paper, it looks like it's about the same level of performance as the Xbox One X. You know, that GPU had 6 teraflops and this one has 4 teraflops. What is going on? Teraflops are definitively the be-all, end-all of performance, or at least that's how people on the internet have led you to believe for the past 12 months. I think the important thing to realize when it comes down to this whole conversation of game scalability and will this console be held back because of the GPU that's in the weakest common denominator, this case being the Series S, the important takeaway is the fact that it still has the same CPU in addition to the SSD. Those are two critical points when it comes down to designing games, especially with this new generation of consoles where it's SSD standard. And if the Series S released and it was still using older architecture, older technology, older ways of going about things, I could see that being the hindrance. But the fact that it's not, it's still classified as a next generation console. You're still going to get those next generation features such as ray tracing, higher frame rate, velocity architecture, the quick resume functionality, all that stuff in a console that's $299 with Game Pass attached to it. That is a friggin' amazing value. In addition to that, we also learned that Microsoft is indeed bringing back the Xbox All Access program. Now, this is not news. They've talked about it briefly, but it's only ever been in passing. They never really, really focused in on the fact that, hey, we have this program. I think they spent a lot more time talking about the controllers throughout the years than this program that is actually really dope because I'm someone who is a member of Xbox All Access, which, to give you all a quick rundown of what it is, it's essentially how you finance your phones. You do that same thing for a game console. You get the system for $0 down, you get 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate, and you just go on like that. You make your monthly payments of $20 to $35 and you're good. So for them to bring that back, in addition to expand upon it to other territories and really aggressively push that, I think this is going to be an interesting generation for Microsoft. You have this unconventional yet traditional way of paying for systems with Xbox All Access. You have the two next generation consoles, one of which at a cheaper price point, one of which for more the enthusiast crowd. Microsoft is really the kings of literally trying to please everybody in every single way possible. It's like Microsoft has really been listening to all the feedback over the past couple of years and really trying to make Xbox the best ecosystem that it can be, except when it comes to games. Most important aspect. Now, while all that stuff sounds well and good, it's going to be really interesting to see the cultural impact of the Xbox Series S. Will the audiences, will the masses really take this system and embrace it into their lives? A lot of people are just really in their ways. They want to go out there, they want to buy the most powerful system and just that be it. But coming out here with a system that is cheaper, that still has the same Xbox technology in it, a system that can still play those next generation games. Sure, they're not going to be at 4K, they're not going to be upscaled 8K, they're not going to be at the crazy high fidelity ratios that come with the Series X horsepower, but you're still getting a more than capable experience for 1080p gaming, 1440p gaming. And if you're a person who all you play is a couple of titles per year, whether it's Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex Legends, for a system that's $299 and then you get Game Pass attached to it, I can see a lot of people just going into the grocery store and being like, well, I came here for eggs, I just left with an Xbox. Make it make sense. Or a lot of people might reject the idea of an Xbox Series S because, well, as it stands right now, there's really not that much appealing for the Xbox this holiday season. Halo Infinite was supposed to be their major launch title, but as many of y'all know, that game has been delayed indefinitely until 2021 with no proper release in sight. And while that's going to be great for the game because it was looking kind of rough, it definitely does paint a bad picture for the launch of this new generation of Xbox. Now, I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom and nobody's going to buy the new console, because that's ridiculous. Because if we were judging the success of every single console in history based off their launch lineup, looking back in history, has any system really ever had a stellar launch? I'm talking about a launch where you want to rush out there and buy the systems to play these games. Some launches have been better than others, but with the exception of Knack, which is Game of the Year every single year until the end of time, give us Knack 3. People who buy systems at launch just want to be a part of the conversation. They want to test out all the fancy new technology in this $400, $500, $600 machine that they just purchased. But these are just my anecdotal experiences and what I've witnessed. I've seen a ton of people out there who are just gung-ho. They're giddy about the Xbox Series X because they've been playing with the OG Xbox for the past 7 years. So for them, this is going to be well worth the investment. There are some people who are excited for the PS5 who don't give two shits about Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Demon's Souls. They just want to play Call of Duty at 120 frames per second. So your mileage may vary as far as the experience is concerned buying consoles these fall. But as it stands, I love the idea of the Xbox Series S. I love disruption in the industries, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens a few months down the road. You know, with them coming out with these systems, with these subscription prices, are we potentially going to see consoles released more rapidly? You know, we had the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro this generation. Are we going to see more of those systems come out on an even quicker basis? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen with the rate of technology, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more mid-gen refreshes and more interesting and clever ways to get people involved in gaming. You know, like, these are the type of moves that I like to see. And even if I'm not 100% invested with it, like, this won't appeal to me, you know, it could appeal to somebody else because maybe this will be their foray into Xbox. You know, there's a ton of people out there who I know who own PlayStation and Switch, and they've always played on that. But if they can get a next generation console for cheap on release to play the Xbox games, the games that they can't get on their systems, and yet they have Game Pass and they can still play a lot of multi-plat stuff and back catalog titles, hey, that's just more incentive. But we'll just have to see upon release. So comment down below, let me know, you guys, what do you think about the Xbox Series S? Do you think that the $299 price point is attractive? Do you think that it's a waste of money and time, and why did they even come out with this? They should just focus on making more games for the Series X? Comment down below and let me know. And from me to you for now, my name is NGS, signing out like always. I will catch you guys later. Peace.